This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. The MiddleGround Mic is fighting for truth and unity. Subscribe now or support us today. Links are in the notes. Stand with us. Hi, everybody. It's Joe. Welcome back to the MiddleGround Mic. Today, we're going to kind of dive into a little bit of the Iranian situation. We're going to have some clips from Goldie Ghamari. She's a young woman on YouTube that I follow. She used to be in the Canadian Parliament. She's very knowledgeable about her heritage is Iranian. I'm not sure if she was born there, but I know her parents were. They immigrated to Canada, but we don't, raging crackdowns are going on there. I think she said, and I had seen a couple other places as well, that there was like 1,000 people massacred there yesterday. But like her, they're amplifying for calls for full regime change and the Shah, of Iran coming back, but we try not to echo just one thing, right? We try to explore the human cost, just so the basic stuff that we do know, and what a balanced future hopefully will look like for 80 plus million people, we're going to reference, like I said, a couple of her videos from her YouTube page. She's got real time insights and she's got a lot of key things. Even if you don't agree with her, check her stuff out. It's really informative. I love watching just some of her content, just you learn a lot, right? Not just the quick shorts, but she has a lot of really good content on there. But is total chaos overthrow the only way? Or could targeted pressure and dialogue open doors there without chaos? I don't see it happening, but it would be nice. Let's start with the spark. The current wave feels like a tipping point. Protests are, they're going crazy, they're escalating, right? Since early January, the chants against the Islamic Republic, she calls they're occupying. Reports of massive crowds, they're doing a bunch of symbolic action, replacing the flags. Goldie Ghamari has been live streaming a lot of it. She's showing raw energy, and, when there needs to be change in the country, this is the right way that, people should do it. They got to stand up for what they believe in. And that's what these folks are doing. But, to give you a sense of that intensity, here's a clip from a recent TalkTV interview where she lays out the regime's impact on everyday life. Let's check it out.
On this week, you already know that something Islamic Republic of Iran's economic down.
Powerful words. Goldie paints a picture of people being really oppressed and on basic joys, people in fear. And she's not alone. The Iranians are feeling that way. They've lost a good chunk of their freedom since 1979. Their inflation's like 50% from what I've heard. But let's zoom out for context a little bit. The sanctions have hit the civilians hard. Some inside Iran worry the revolution could bring economic collapse or even civil war. Still, the human rights abuses are undeniable and are unacceptable. Moving to the historic angle a little bit, Goldie often contrasts pre-1979 Iran, modernizing, secularizing with today's reality. She argues the regime dragged the country backward. Here's another segment from the same TalkTV interview with Goldie Ghamari. Credit to her channel. Check it out.
The Islamic dictatorship has essentially taken us back to the 7th.
That's a stark historical take. Goldie sees the regime as an illegitimate occupation, not a legitimate government. And a lot of Iranians seem to feel the same way. I mean, you just got to look at what's going on there. Let's check out some more.
Culture, the celebrations, the values, it's
strong stuff, man. She calls for rejecting the regime entirely. And on the streets, people are doing that now themselves. It's crazy. But let's hear from one of her live streams that she had, day 16, the Iran Revolution, where she discusses Pahlavi's support and international calls.
Of course, the Crown Prince, Reza Pahlavi, who's the leader of the Iranian National Revolution.
You hear the passion for the monarchy restoration, as a path to stability. Goldie and many supporters see Pahlavi as the figure to bridge democracy, but not everyone agrees. Some Iranians fear any monarchy revival or want grassroots reform without external figures. And international involvement, it is kind of complicated, right? Let's check this clip out. Calls for decisive U.S. help, like strikes.
And you can see the IRGC, or not IRGC, but the police, the regional
Starlink access, which I believe Elon Musk is trying to do. And if I remember hearing on the news a little bit ago that they were trying to block Starlink. I don't know how successful that the Iranian government is right now in that, but they are attempting to. Trump has signaled are fueling hope, but also raising escalations of fear in a volatile region. But finally, Goldie ends on hope for a secular future. These people are choosing their path. But let's check out the clip here.
Iran, him and the entire Islamic Republic, they are the enemy of Iran. And,
her voice is loud and clear, full regime change towards secular democracy, right? The stuff that she puts out there, it's real, it's full of fury and hope and, a diaspora, and ground reports. But, finding the middle ground means asking, how do we support human rights without risking more bloodshed? And sometimes the answer is very difficult to even try to achieve. But the people of Iran are making their own choice. Could international forces pressure, them for concessions, free elections, or civil society, space first? Or is the regime too entrenched? Just based on my knowledge and what I've seen from her and what I've seen from other people, to me, it seems like it's entrenched, right? But of course, I'm not Iranian, not pretending to be, or to be, super deep in, the country. But, this kind of goes back to like other revolutions I've talked about that, happen from time to time. When the people of a country step up, nobody should be helping any country if the people of the country aren't willing to step up and do what they feel they need to do and that they can do to make the change, right? Because if you don't, you have situations like, the United States has gotten themselves into. So this is a step forward, in case you don't know, before the Islamic Revolution era, I forgot she says it, they were allies of the United States in Israel. We needed that. You also got, I was watching a show earlier and, Russia's pretty much went silent on the Ayatollah. Like, public statements aside, they're not really helping them. Russia's kind of leaving them high and dry, just like they did Venezuela. So what do you say, But, what do you think about this revolution, this reform, or something in between? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for joining the Middle Ground Mic on this quick coverage. Stay curious, stay balanced. Let us really know what you think. And if you can, subscribe, like the channel, share it to people you think that need some kind of balanced take in life. And, let's pray for the best outcome for the people of Iran and, the least amount of bloodshed possible and, a prosperous future. Because like I said earlier, people are saying 50% tariffs, and that's just insane. All right. Thanks, everybody. My name's Joe. Have a good night.